You guys all know her by the lady that does the shag, that invented the shag. Let's bring to the stage Miss Sally Hirschberger.
Hi!
Oh, there you are.
Hi, Gorge. Hi, everybody. You ready to learn the shag or learn it even more?
And are you guys ready? Oh, here she's bringing her model
Here's the
out.
team, Jay
Yeah.
and Natalie.
All right. So next up, we'll bring to the stage Mr. Harry Josh. He is the stylist from Giselle that created the look that we all know and love. Coming up, Selena Gomez, Kristen Vega.
A little tighter.
Thank you for being here. Okay. And then next up on our list, Mr. Love the guy. He's been with us. This is his third year at Color Cut and Style from the Chris McMillan Salon. He's the colorist for Jen Aniston and Miley Cyrus, just a couple people you might know. Mr. Justin Anderson.
Hi guys. How are you? I was just complimenting someone backstage on their butt.
At least you weren't, as long as you weren't swearing.
No, I know.
Do that
I was
backstage,
telling
and
the
you're like,
stage
your
person.
mic is on, and you're like,
I don't know.
"Ugh." I've heard that before many times. And the lady that just did all the Victoria's Secret hair for the Victoria's Secret fashion show. So if you want to know how to get all those waves so fast, those Victoria's Secret waves, you're going to learn it all from Miss Sarah Patempa. Come on up. Beach waver.
Hi guys! Woo! So excited to be here. Hi Mary!
So you're bringing your lovely model on as well. And finally, we have a very dear friend of mine who is, I've known him for 15 years. He owns the salon in Trump Tower, and he's a stylist for Adriana Lima, Mariah Carey, Debbie Moore, Mr. Anthony Cristiano. Okay. So, Sally, why don't we go ahead and start with you up in the
All
back?
right.
You guys are live, so tell us a little bit about what you're doing and
Okay, well, this is Natalie who had hair down to here. I wish we had a picture, but did we take? Okay. Well, what I did was obviously cut all around the front of her face and then slide down just a smidge. And then what I did was disconnect the top. I cut about, what, 8, 10 inches? And then I took the top, and I'm going to show you. I disconnect it. I bring it all up like this. And then just keep following the line as you keep going. Everything is actually very precision. And then obviously I go like through here and bring it all the way up. And then last but not least, what I'd like to do at the end is take the razor, give me my razor, and pull these two pieces like in front. And I like to measure that and just take it and disconnect this part right through here, because that's really what gives it that framing around the face. And then afterwards, you can just go in, because a lot of times haircuts get heavy through here. So I like to pull these two pieces out and have this height in here, as you can see. But I take the front bits and bring them the same, because if you just go like this, it tends to get longer right through here. So I go back in and fix that and give it a little bit of that disconnected, disheveled look. And this works in all hair types, all lengths. You can have short hair and do it. And then basically just bringing everything up to the top. So check this out. You just, after you make your guideline, you come all the way up. And you see how that's like perfectly even? Then you can kind of chip into it. But once you get your guideline, then you can have fun, which is what I'm going to do right now.
Cool. I'm going to go ahead. Do you want to speak about that for a second, or shall I head on over to Sarah? There you go. That's cool.
See how like I just go in and just give it that little softening with the razor? I don't, I'm not a fan of taking the razor close to the root. That's why so many women always say, I don't want a razor. But if you do it like I do, you get rid of those blunt edges that the scissors, turn it this way, that the scissors will give you. The scissors give you that blunt cut, and I always like hair to look like it wasn't cut that day. So for instance, she has some blunt edges here. I just go in and just chip it ever so slightly so it looks like it's, you know, been lived in a little bit.
Looks beautiful.
Thank you.
Great. She is the queen of shags. We had her at our BTC on tour in Chicago for a day. Did 3 shags in what, about 35, 40 minutes? It was
Yeah.
pretty incredible. Incredible. And they looked amazing, the transformation. So Sarah, how do you get all those Victoria's Secret models done so fast?
47 models, you guys. There's 47 models that walk in the Victoria's Secret fashion show. And honestly, it's a big production. We start at 7:30 in the morning. The first show is at 4 o'clock. And then the next show is actually at 8 p.m. So the live one. So this is the beach waver, you guys. There's a left and a right button based on the side you're curling. So I'm on the right side. I've selected R. And then I'm going to clamp it, and then I just tap go. So the beach waver was used backstage on all the girls and honestly cut down our time. It was so easy to create this look because it is so fast. And it's a professional grade tool. So when you are styling, having that heat that goes to 450 degrees, being able to style really quickly allows it to last all day. So I leave the ends out too. So a lot of people will see the videos we do. We do a lot of social videos. If you guys follow us at The Beach Waver, has its own Instagram account. And my account, Sarah Potempa, we actually do a lot of videos, and people will say, why do you leave the ends out when you're doing that look? And they're like, get the ends in, girl. I had someone comment that. I was like, no, it's good. We do that to get that really relaxed second day look. So once I've done that, I kind of loosen it up, and then I'm actually going to lift it. Billy's going to grab me a silver clip. And you guys, we always have people come by our booth and talk to us about joining the team because we love talking to hairdressers. I'm a hairdresser and invented a tool, and I just met Billy 2 years ago, and he was backstage at the Victoria's Secret fashion show. So he can tell you all about it, what the girls and what it's like. But honestly, it's this look that's iconic for this beachy, relaxed texture that you can create, and I know a lot of your clients are asking for.
Looks cool. And in fact, you were with us on tour too. And how many looks did you do in your like 35 or 4 minutes? I mean, 10, 12, and braids.
You have the bum.
Full on braids.
Yes, braids too. I know last year I did,
after.
on Instagram, I did 365 days of braids. And this is something I always say to hairdressers that are asking me, like, how do I become a celebrity hairdresser? How do I do that? Well, honestly, you create your own content. It's just what you guys are doing with the contest here. It's really incredible that you can submit your work. It can get recognized. You know, it's really amazing what the internet and social media has done now. So you can really see this kind of look. And honestly, that's kind of how we teamed up with Victoria's Secret.
You can do
Really
that full
good.
head in how many minutes?
Say it again.
How fast can you do her?
Oh, we could probably do it. Well, we're going to finish it in 25 minutes, but I can do my own hair in 6 minutes. We can literally do the girls so fast because, as you can see, it's doing all the work. So if you guys ever have used a Marcel,
No,
you're
just a
rolling your
little.
wrist. This is actually an automatic Marcel. So it's turning for you, and it's creating this look literally in minutes.
And you know what I think is really great is you guys know that we support, BTC supports hairdressers who have created products called The Next Big Thing. The thing that I love about this is we've got Sarah, who has created her product as a hairdresser, and Harry Josh, who has an entire line of products back here as a hairdresser as well. I mean, who better than a hairdresser to know exactly what you guys need because it's your problems and your solutions.
You have some balls.
So Justin, you're the lone colorist here. Tell us what's going on over here.
I'm the only colorist here today, so it's a little bit awkward. But to be honest, we colored Emily's hair before we came here. This is Emily, everybody. And Emily's actually the receptionist at the salon that I work at, just a little information. But we colored her hair before, and I wanted to show you guys like a quick and easy way. Like before we came here, Emily got a haircut, and she kind of cut away all those bright ends that we really love to see, like in a natural like, California-looking blonde. We like to see those bright poppy ends, and she got her ends cut away. So I want to show you guys like a quick way if somebody, let's say you do their color and they happen to get a haircut after, and all of your good bright ends are cut away, and you want to have like a quick way to add those back in. It happens to me all the time. Like if it's scheduling, like someone will go and get like a big major haircut and they cut away all the color that I've just done. So going back through and kind of like lightening up those tips that were just cut away.
Looks good.
Come on over on this side, we'll go in from over here. Actually, Cody, let's go on this side. Ray, you're right there? There you go.
Jay.
So kind of sectioning out, I like to use the like back combing technique where you kind of weave it out, back comb it a bit so you don't get that serious line of demarcation when you paint the bleach on. And we're just working on the tips of the hair. But like a really quick and easy way to do it, just recently Pravana came out with this new tool called the Blonde Wand, which is pretty badass, to be honest. It's one of those things that's like when they first showed it to me, I was like, yeah, right, there's no way that anyone could create something that would make our job like a little bit easier or like actually really work. I don't know, just everything seems gimmicky to me these days. But the idea behind this wand is you can really quickly put on the Pravana lightener, so you have to use their actual lightener, and it's totally like souped up with like a bunch of different oils, so it really protects the hair. Come on in. Paint the Pravana lightener right onto the hair, just like you naturally, like normally would do your own highlights in the salon. Paint it right on. You got that? Awesome. So you paint it right onto the hair really, really quick. Lay the next one over. With this, you don't want to fold the foil because you don't want to have like that crease in the foil. You put it in, and then right after you're going to run the blonde wand right here. This is it. Just run it over the foil. It lightens it like in 10 seconds. It lightens it up to like 7 shades. I know it sounds like crazy. This wand doesn't it doesn't close all the way, so there's like space in between, so it just glides right over the foil, so it's not actually pressing on it. And what it does is it just puts a lot of heat into exactly where you wanted it at that time. It sounds crazy, and at first I'm like, that's like bull crap, there's no way. But like there's all those times when like I'll do like a full head of highlights. Can you let that go? I can do like a full head of highlights, and then like I'll put them under the heater and I'll take them to the bowl when they're about ready, and there's spots in the hair that haven't quite lifted all the way, or like if you're doing a bleach and tone and you lift up the roots and they have like a band in the middle of the hair and you can't really get that to lighten, you can go back through, throw these foils in just where the band is, and then run the iron over the band, and it lightens it up in 7 levels in 10 seconds. But the thing is, it's kind of just like a lifesaver for hair colorists in the salons because it quickly like lightens up the areas that we want to be lightened. And I think with this whole like trend with ombre happening in the hair, like up at the top of the highlight, we can kind of like go over it a little bit less and then really focus more on the ends, and the ends get a little bit lighter. So you just kind of run it through. You mix up the bleach the exact same way that you would. I add Olaplex to everything, so I know that like when I very first started working with Olaplex, it slowed everything down. So I had to learn that you obviously have to bump the volume up a little bit. So this is another way. It's like if you get to the bowl and certain things aren't light enough, you can go back through and kind of run the wand over it to get exactly where you want it to be. Just like a cool little trick. But as you see, it already lifts up there. Can you even get that on camera? Yeah.
That's pretty
so
cool.
So it already lifts up. But the cool thing too is you can go like, say you did a full head of highlights. I think this would have been amazing when I very first started doing hair, because if you do like a full head of highlights, you get to the very front highlights and the back ones are ready. Rather than rinsing the back, washing it out, just the front ones that you just put in, run the iron over it, get those light, and you can pull everything off. So it speeds everything up. Like it really just kind of cuts everything in half.
Wave it at all?
And that's
Very
kinda
cool. I know, I love all the new technologies that we see here all the time. And so Harry, we're over here, and Harry, like you're like aside from the fact that I know we talked about Giselle, but you're really known for this sexy hair. And I tell us a little bit about what you're doing here.
You know what?
And
I
what
think
you're
that
using.
this is something that's so elementary that people always get kind of halfway there, but never fully to where it needs to be. And it's really all in the details. It's what's going to take ordinary hair to extraordinary hair. So the waving pattern, I'm using my I'm using my Marcel here. So what you want to do when you're working with a Marcel iron, even if you don't do the spinning portion, which is this part, even if you don't want to do that, you can still wrap the hair the way you always do. You can even wrap it without it. So people who are not crafty with the Marcel, you still can get this look. Do not think you cannot. And I just like to use the Marcel on the end, as Sarah said, to stretch it out. So when you stretch out that end, it blends into the rest of the hair. Now, I'm further along than a lot of people here because there's a lot of information that I want to tell you guys. So I wanted to get the look done to a point that you guys can actually get some real tips out of this. So the waving pattern, as you see, and while the hair is in this warm stage, what you want to do is, I like to spray the brush.
I'm going to have you so they can see you.
Oh, sure. We're going to spray the brush.
And you go ahead and keep right there.
Yep.
And I go, there's your camera guy. Keep going just a little more.
Okay.
This way. This way.
Got it.
And I go,
Okay.
camera guy right
Okay, great. So as I'm brushing the hair, I'm starting to see all the waves connect into place. So as they're starting to connect into place, the most crucial thing that you'll ever know about doing these things are wave setting clips. You will not be able to get a strong wave pattern that stays together for a whole red carpet evening or anything else without something that's going to hold this shape all together. So for a lot of people at home who've tried to do this look and they say they get outside and their hair becomes ringlets, what you really want to do is use the setting clips to really hold the waves in place. Now, in the interest of you guys learning something very interesting, something happened to me today. So our model, who I had not met, who has beautiful hair, the Polaroids I saw of her, she had platinum hair all over. I did not realize that she had a lot of regrowth. So, that being said, I had a hairpiece that was totally platinum blonde for the back of her head. Now, this often happens for a lot of photo shoots and stuff like that, and you realize, wow, this is not going to match. So what we did with this hairpiece is we sprayed in roots. So I love this Rita Hazan root concealer, and I also love the Bumble & Bumble dry powder shampoo. This mocks a root of an extension that normally would be very, very blonde, so it gives you regrowth. So it looks like this is all her hair, and in actuality, there is a big old piece in this. So for my finishing touches, I normally would let these clips sit a little longer, but I want you guys to kind of get the end look of what this will be. So as you see, as I'm starting to shake it out, I'm getting a lot of width, and it still has a lot of that hold and glamour to it. And I would take out these clips that have been sitting for a while here as well, and I would also do the same thing, start shaking it out. And as you start to shake it out, you start to see the body build and the movement of it. So it really has that glamorous effect, but yet it still looks modern and cool, and it still has a lot of volume, and that's really going to come from the piece. So for everyone who's never seen a half wig, how I make hair pieces is I buy full wigs, and we cut the top off. So for anyone who wants to take a picture of the look, this is what it's going to be, because I'm going to kind of destroy the look for a second, just so you guys can see what this looks like. So if you can help me take the piece out. So just so you guys get a reality. Another thing that a lot of people don't understand is that if you don't have enough hair, you will never get these looks. So if you've got clients with fine hair who want these looks, you got to put in extra hair. So that being said, this was a solid platinum piece this morning. There we go. And then with just the spray, we gave it roots. And that looks incredibly real. That blends with her hair. So this is the magic. So this is the magic. You basically have to work on putting in pieces to get that volume. If your client has fine hair, you could pop this back in her head. So if your client has fine hair and you're trying to get a lot of volume, a lot of like that Rita Hayworth, so they're on their carpet and they're turning this way and that way, and 360, there's got that volume, and look, you got to put in the extra hair to do that. So I know a lot of people who work with extensions. I prefer to work with half wigs for this particular thing because it stays cohesive. So a lot of the times if you're unhappy with the work you do and you're like, wow, every time she turns, I see the separation or I see the extensions not working together, a half wig is going to solve that, and it's going to be all one big cohesive piece that moves together. So I'm going to get her back to a decent place, and I hope you guys learned something from that.
That's incredible.
That go?
So I want to ask you, because I know that your blow dryer has been in the press like crazy, and as I was saying, you and Sarah both are hairdressers, and you made decisions, I mean, to start a line. So tell us, I'd love to know about this blow dryer, because it's pretty crazy, and what the tools are that you think are just incredible on the line.
For me, honestly, the whole passion of making a tool line is because I was in love with so many great tools from so many brands that I've used, the greatest brands that are even here. You have everybody here. So literally all the brands that are in there are the same brands that I use that everyone else used. I love GHD, I love Chi, I love Sudo, I loved all these brands, but I just wanted to put my personal bit on each one of the tools that I made. And granted, I've been doing hair for 20 years, and a lot of the things that I've noticed have been when you're on photo shoots, you're like, God, I wish this cord of this dryer was longer. I wish the nozzle came in a different setting. I wish that there was an ionic feature. I wish that it had all these bells and whistles that really didn't exist until I decided to make the line myself. The blow dryer is handmade in France. We've won multiple awards. We are basically doing very well with a certain amount of people, but it's the hairdressers that, like you guys, who've never really used it. So for me, it was really great when Mary said, bring your tools, let them try it. I know I'm giving some to Sally because she wants them. Justin wants them. I'm going to give them to her too. So yeah, it's been a really passionate project, and Sarah's been one of my kind of cheerleaders because I'm watching her do it, and I'm like, I want to be like Sarah when I grow up. So thanks, Sarah.
So thank you. It's gorgeous. You guys all have gorgeous models. So, and it's funny because Sarah, remember when we were on tour? So this is a really funny story. We were on tour with Sarah, and all of a sudden I'm like watching people leave the room.
Yeah.
And they were leaving the room because they were buying all of the beach waivers.
Yeah, the beach waiver was sold out.
And
I
they
know.
completely sold out inside the hour that you were on stage. So it's
I-
pretty incredible that, and it was all hairdressers because it's time is money, and if you can get that look by using
Absolutely.
it, it's really important.
Yeah, so the beach waiver in the salon will actually cut down your time because it's so fast. So if you do have a ton of clients that you're seeing and they want this look, they want that gorgeous, sexy Victoria's Secret wave, this is the tool that will do it. I know you guys still have to talk over there. And I
Yeah.
love this guy. We just actually met
Yeah.
today, and we've got some great stories. He's amazing.
So this is Anthony Cristiano, and he is the Education Artistic Director worldwide for Fido, and also a very good friend of mine, and I love him. He's the nicest, most humble hairdresser in the world. I remember saying to him, Anthony, you need to be like a little bit, push yourself forward. He's kind of doing okay because he's traveling with Adriana Lima and everybody else. I just did Sports Illustrated, so it's kind of okay, I guess. But tell us a little bit about what your look is and what we just did.
It's a thrill to be here in front of you. Thank you behind the chair, Mary. Well, what we did is I've already cut the hair now. So I've gone through up horizontally up the back shape. My work is really based off of like just balance and proportion, keeping it quite classic, just layering throughout. I did a concave in through the top, bit of a longer fringe, so it's a bit rock inspired. Amazing color by my color director, Becky Giannopoulos, for Subtil. It's the ice blonde, real pastel fuchsia colors. Now I'm just getting ready to finish. So for me, the prep work, because I like to cut most of my shapes dry, so the prep work is really important. I use Phyto Volume Active in through the base area to give me the volume and some of the guts that I need. And then I'll finish with a dry oil, the Phyto Plage, just to give it the texture so it just looks sexy.
So
real
she
easy.
has fairly fine hair, right?
Yeah, she has very fine hair.
Tell us about this cut. Obviously, the idea is also to help create some volume with it too. So tell us a little bit about how you have to, cut hair differently based on, that.
Well,
texture
her
of
texture
look.
is actually curly, and you'll see
Oh,
her
okay.
tomorrow in my presentation of just how curly it really is. But I would still take it in the salon and dry it straight, really clean. And if she wants to look out curly, I'll re-wet it and kind of prep it back. But like I said, the prep work when you're cutting dry is important. The texture of my approach that I work with is going to be based on the density of her hair and the position. So when I take my first parting, it is based on the head shape and how layered I want it. So in this case, it's just elevation right at the base of the crown. And I like to cut around the circumference first and do my base layers. And then I just look at the person and see what her face needs. And really the emphasis of just a longer fringe, just playing on her eyes, concaving around her cheekbones, and then just a concave in through the top just to give it a nice, sexy layer.
Beautiful.
And I did a little bit of texturizing, not killing the shape, just the texturizing is supposed to enhance the shape and give me more pliable texture, but not trashing it.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. You guys love this? Stunning.
Thank you.
Very
Thank
stunning.
you.
Sally, you all set? You want to just say a few words about your look?
Yeah, I mean, basically at the end, I like to finish it with, it's crucial, I use my texturizing paste, which brings out all the layers here, because that really emphasizes it. And then just in the end, I just spray in my dry shampoo just to give it texture, because it's a texturizer and a hairspray. And it just gives it all that dimension and shine.
It's gorgeous. Thanks, you guys. So we're going to go ahead and pick the models up. We're going to sit down and have some conversations about working with celebrities. And let's go ahead and gather our things and then let the models stand right here in the front. You guys go ahead and bring your models forward.
All right.
Yeah, clean everything.
Did you see yourself yet?
Gorgeous.
You look great.
Go ahead and give us a little music if you guys have some back there. And then we're going to get everything out. And then we're
Great.
going to sit down for just a few minutes and answer some questions about working with celebrities. Everybody? Okay. So let's go ahead and hit, yeah, go ahead, Brent. Let's go ahead and hit the slides. We'll go ahead and sit down. There you go.
But in my heart, I understand. I made my move,
Where should I go?
and it was
I can't remember where we had you guys before.
So far removed.
So, thank you guys. Was that great? That's great. It was so fun to have you guys doing it. Yeah. So, I want to thank you guys so much. All gorgeous, as always. I never like to stand next to models. It's quite obvious why. So, anyway, so it's always fun. This is what we do every year is we sit down and we have conversations about what it's like to work with celebrities. And who wants to start? Like, I have some fun stories here, and I think
go the way around?
what would be really fun. Yeah, let's take a look at, let's go to Harry Josh's slides. So, Harry, you're new with us this year, so let's give him a warm welcome at BTC. And first of all, and I'm just going to say for the record, I know you talk about Instagram sometimes. He is, if you don't follow his Instagram, if you don't follow all their Instagrams, you should be following their Instagrams. But I also know he is one of the most inspirational Instagrams I've ever met.
Thank
and
you.
Ever
I would
met.
say it's controversial.
I met your Instagram.
But
we were dating.
it can be controversial, but I do my best to speak my truth.
I know.
And I think that's really important for everybody when you are a hairdresser, because even if you're working in a salon, you don't have to be at a level that maybe we're at, where maybe we have a wider audience, but you are something to somebody. So when you have that moment to be with that client and sit with them, it doesn't always have to be about hair. It could be about humanity. It could be about life. It could be about something. Everyone's looking for a nugget of wisdom to feel good. And if you're in a position to do that and have that one-on-one time with your client, I think it's a really powerful place to do it.
So tell us, what was your big break? Because it's such a great story.
My story is really long, and I know we don't have that much time, but in a nutshell, I will tell you, I grew up, my parents are from India. My brother was born on a cot in India. We were like total immigrants. My dad was like Apu from 7-Eleven on the Simpsons. So he worked at a 7-Eleven, he worked at a gas station, drove taxis. My mom didn't speak English, so I never thought at a young age that I would ever be given the opportunity to become a tastemaker in the world of fashion and entertainment. So when we grew up, I know I had all these crazy ideas. My parents were like, that's not for you. That's for other people, but you're going to become a doctor or a lawyer because that's what Indian people do. And I said, I don't do that. I don't want to do that. And so I fought tooth and nail to do that. And I basically ran away from home when I was 19. I was supposed to be going to college. My parents had enrolled me. I took my books there, but then I went to a hair salon downtown and basically washed hair and did everything. And they had no idea until 6 months had passed. Become a hairdresser at the salon. I'm talking fast because it's a long story, but I want to get you there. So then I ended up being like, I want to do freelance. I don't want to work in a salon. How do I get to do that? Like, who does that hair? And they're like, well, you got to live in New York or LA or Paris or London to do that. So I said, well, then I guess I'll just move. I didn't have a visa, but I was confident that I'd get a sponsorship when I came to America. And I came to America with this terrible portfolio. I was very righteous at 18 or 19. I thought I was really talented, really gifted. And when I got to Miami, South Beach at the time in 1990, all the agencies were on one row, and they all were lined up side by side. And I went to all of them and got rejected by everyone. And they're like, your work is terrible. These are awful pictures. I don't know who you think you are. So I was like, oh, well, I'm really big in my small town, you know. And they're like, no, you're not, because this is really bad. And I really wish I had those pictures because they're humbling to know how lost I really was and how disconnected I was to thinking that I was actually something better than I wasn't. So I ate a big piece of humble pie. They started me as an assistant. I assisted for like another year. Assisted there. Then I started getting my own little tear sheets for magazines, and I'm like, all right, I'm ready for New York now. I'm finally learned so much more. Year and a half later, I moved to New York, did the same thing, went to all the agencies, got rejected by everyone. Your book is crap. You don't know what you're doing. This is New York. This is the big dogs. You need to assist. So I assisted for 12 years, did not make it at all. So I assisted a bunch of people. I ended up working at a salon. And so during that 12-year period that I was trying to make it, this is a story about perseverance, everybody. So I want you to pay attention to this story. Everyone said, you're not good enough, you're not strong enough, you can't do this, you need to assist. I assisted a bunch of people. Even my assisting level was not high enough. Because when you get to an assistant level at where we're at, you need to be able to be as good as the hairdresser. You're not there to hold a pin. I mean, you still are going to the world's best shows, London, Milan, Paris with Eugene.
Yeah.
Like, he needs to be as good as Eugene if he wants to assist Eugene. Am I right?
That's right.
Yeah.
You can't just be
Right.
like, I'm going to hand you a pin. It's like, no, do that girl from start to finish and make it look identical to mine. So I didn't have that. So what ended up happening is I met a few people in the fashion industry that worked in fashion production, and then they were like, oh, well, you could become maybe somewhere in that arena. So I became a casting director. I was a casting director for models and fashion shows, so I worked at like London, Milan, and Paris, becoming a fashion, model caster, and from that I built relationships with these models, and we'd hang out off time or off the clock. And when we'd be at my house, I'd be having a glass of wine, and I'd be drunk, and I'm like, "You need bangs." And they're like, "You don't know anything about hair, like you're a casting person." I said, "Well, actually I do, I just didn't make it." So the girls would start taking chances on me, and as I started coloring their hair, they were going to shoots. And I know some of the girls, I know Sally worked with Giselle for
Yeah, you
Leaving
guys
Myself
all talk
Vogue.
about that.
And
just hanging
I
out with
remember
the models.
I've been coloring Giselle's hair since 18 years. So I know that just show of hands, have any of you guys in your life ever had a picture of Giselle brought into you to say, "I want this hair color"?
Yeah.
What did he say?
Okay, well, that's my claim to fame then, all right? Because that's what I'm the only person who's ever colored
No,
her hair.
it was an
So
inspiration.
that's how it started. And from that, when Giselle became famous, her hair became famous, and an agency called me and said, "Would you like representation?" So,
And so it was a long,
Yeah.
long story.
so it took 12 years.
Yeah.
So
But
that
it's,
was,
but yeah, you can't give up on those dreams. And like Chris talked about that when we had Chris McMillan, when he was talking the same thing, model, and then all of a sudden they became famous, and there you go. Ken Pavis, same situation with Jessica Simpson, and you get
Ken,
very
yeah.
exactly, same situation. And so I want to ask you guys, just because I know Justin, you've been with us for a few years too, and he just sent us a picture of Miley. Can I say it? Can I tell him this? And Jen, and he goes, "You didn't get this from me," when she just changed her hair color.
Yeah.
So what's been going on in your world in the last? And I know I want to get through to everybody. Oh, we still have time. Okay, but what's been going on in your world? Like, what's been exciting for you in the last?
Yeah, I sent you that picture of Jennifer Aniston. We're always kind of like, I feel like I always get brought in to do her hair when she goes a little bit like deeper and there's more contrast in her hair. She's been using the same guy, and I always try and shout him out. Michael Canali's done her super blonde for a really long time, and then I always kind of get brought in for like if she has a campaign or something, they want a lot more contrast. So this past time she was doing the.
Can we go to Justin's slides, which would be Miley
she's
Cyrus?
cute,
Is this
but
yours?
let's go to Jen.
Yeah, here's Jen, and then Miley is next. No,
yes.
here's Jen. Okay.
Yeah, so just recently we made it much more like this one, like a lot more kind of contrast in it. She was doing the cover of Marie Claire last week, so we put like a lot more contrast into her hair, made it much more kind of golden, which is the way that like I actually prefer her hair. Like Giselle, Jen's like one of those people that's always being requested in the salon all the time, and I feel like people are always
Number one in history, Jennifer Aniston coming into your salon. Just say yay, because we can't see you. Yes. Number one.
happen.
Yeah.
But I feel like when people talk about Jennifer Aniston, they're always talking about when she has that real like contrasty, like more multi-dimensional kind of a blonde, rather than when she's like super, super blonde. So I always like when I get the opportunity to bring her back to like a more multi-dimensional contrast.
Yeah, it's funny because I met Kim Kardashian for an interview about 2 years ago, and I had death threats because I actually went to interview her thinking that you guys would want me to, and then there were 500 of like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you actually met her," and like you thought. And I'm like, well, I don't know. It seems like every single person brings Kim Kardashian's hair into the salon. I thought it'd be a good thing. I'll never do it again. I promise. But it was crazy. It was crazy. But I mean, and I think it's so interesting how social media has like so impacted everything. It's changed everything. And I know, for you guys too. Like it was funny. We had Anko and Anko and Johnny Ramirez here, and they'll be here tomorrow for the social media panel. And like you were saying last year, that you've got some of your clients, celebrity clients, bringing their pictures in to show, saying, "I want my hair to look like this," which I think social media has made some huge changes.
Oh yeah, social
in
media's
everything that's
huge,
been going
yeah.
on.
Definitely.
So Sarah, we'll just take it down the line. Victoria's Secret,
Yes.
and again, let's put your slides up there, and I'll get back to Miley in just a second. But let's put some Sarah slides up here. I think what's interesting is so many people I think don't know how many celebrities you've done. And I don't know how you became so here's Victoria's Secret, and this is what we were talking about before. What a coup that was. I mean, to be able to do that and to have 47 models that you were doing in such a short window of time.
Yes. 47 models. It was fun. And I think that's the thing. It's brought us so much attention from the show, but I have been in this industry for a really long time. And my job is really the traveling celebrity hairstylist. I know Harry does it a lot too. And I don't work in a hair salon. I have a suitcase and I travel around and I style celebrities when they go on TV or they're promoting a film. So I was just in Tokyo promoting Suicide Squads. I was in Miami, Toronto Film Festival, New York Fashion Week. So I travel and style them for when they're on the red carpet or doing an appearance. And I invented the Beach Waver, this rotating curling iron, because all the beauty editors were asking me, how do you get the look at home? And so I would say, like, hold it upside down or wear a glove or wrap it. And what I thought was, like, if you're the beauty editor of Cosmo, you should know how to do your own hair. But I was totally wrong. They're not hairdressers. They don't know how to do their own hair. And
Oh, remember that we can go to you to get our hair done anytime we want.
yeah, right. Well,
There's
they
that.
do. They said, well, you guys just do it, so I'm good. I'm like, but you're writing the article for the women at home, and you guys as hairdressers are trying to teach your clients. And that's what I was trying to do through writing articles and, going on the Today Show and doing little beauty segments. But I just realized I was on the phone with a beauty editor, and she just said, oh, wait, I'm confused. What do you mean? Hold it upside down? Okay, how do I get the back? I'm going to wrap it. And I got off the phone with her because she didn't want to write it. She didn't know how to write it. And I just said, what if it was the other way around? What if you could hold it upright, and there was a left and a right button? And what if it could create the same pattern, but you were holding it normal? You weren't upside down and backwards. So that's how the Beach Waver came about. My sister was a corporate lawyer. She quit her job. And the two of us came together, started the company. And I actually launched on QVC because I was with Rachel Zoe at a photo shoot. And she made me a model, made me wear 6-inch heels and bangles and a fur vest. And I met the marketing director of QVC. And so I got put on air that year. And we worked so hard. We custom made it, 350 custom parts, 3 computer boards in every one. And being a hairdresser, I was like, this is going to be perfect. 450 degrees, like a custom internal heater. I wanted 6.5 inches. I mean, everything about it, automatic shut-off. So I was trying to make it what flat irons were, but bring it into the curling iron space and modernize the Marcel. So when we created the Beach Waver, it was the tool, but everyone would say, I look like a Victoria's Secret angel. Like, that's the look I feel like when I use it. So when it came to do this partnership, it was kind of the perfect collaboration, the tool that can give you the look. And I think because I'm a hairdresser, I've found that so many stylists love our Pro line.
Yeah, and this must have been fun. I mean, this has been so crazy too with social media. Again, who does Taylor Swift's hair? Does anybody know?
Who knows what?
No, the reason I put this up is because these guys are all friends now. It's
Karen.
interesting how they all, and all of a sudden I'm
Taylor
like,
Swift's
I'm
hair.
seeing Gigi Hadid, and I'm like, they're all hanging out together, and I'm like, we have yet
a lot of
behind the
people
chair
do.
to find out who does Taylor Swift's hair. We can't figure it out. Taylor Swift.
Taylor
That
Swift.
is
I think it's
Maybe
not Garen because it was somebody. I was meant to do her for Rolling Stone cover.
Yeah,
She has her own person.
I think it's a guy that's been with her
Yeah,
at
it's-
backstage SNL once. There's
yeah.
a
Yeah.
guy
A lot
that
herself.
has
Oh, she
been
does
there
a lot
from the
herself.
A lot
beginning,
herself.
right?
She still does a lot herself.
She does it
I mean,
herself?
I know her socially, but so I know she does a lot. I know she uses my tools because
Really?
she's asked for them.
I
But I
just-
know, and there's one Instagram of her blow drying her cat with my page, who fell in the bathtub. So that was how I found out she had them.
I'm afraid to ask if the cat made it.
Yeah, the cat's fine.
Okay.
It's just wet. She's just drying the cat.
So this must have been, I know, a blast, and again, you guys are. It's so interesting how now models like Adriana Lima and you guys. It's because we talk so much about like, and I'll go to Sally, and then, but I want to ask you about Adriana Lima, and then I'm going to jump to Sally. It's social media is so unbelievably huge. How many followers does Adriana Lima have now?
Say that again.
How many followers does Adriana have now?
Oh, she's in the millions, I think. Up
So
to
I
8
think
million- up to 8
almost 4 million.
Adriana.
4 million
I
followers.
think it's like 8.
8
I
million
think it's 8
followers.
million.
8
Yeah.
million. What does that do for you guys when they have that many followers and then all of a sudden they're posting you? Or does that change who they seem to be as a celebrity when you've got so many followers and you're working with them?
I mean, when you're lucky to be with someone that supports you and puts you out there, absolutely. I mean, the phone just
And not always.
Starts
I mean,
ringing off the
sometimes they
hook.
don't always, post or tag you. You know what I mean?
But I think
Right.
Kim Kardashian changed it all.
Jen
They did.
Atkins, I think
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
made
they
a huge
did.
difference in her career.
Which, another hairdresser, that was
For
a very
sure they
fortunate
did.
situation.
The thing now, the real movie stars don't really post. They don't do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's more, Kardashians and
Models.
stuff. But like the old school celebrities would never do that. Like Brad Pitt and Angelina. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
who's?
I'm even
You have,
like-
it's the opposite. You can't even say you're doing their hair.
Well, and
When
when
you
I
talk about
assisted,
Kim Kardashian, it's just like Kim Kardashian changes it for a lot of like
Yeah.
her makeup
Yeah.
artists or stylists. for hairdresser. But then Taylor Swift, it's like no one knows because Taylor's not posting that kind of stuff, you know? And it's like, I think about a lot of the big people that I've got to work, like Jennifer Aniston doesn't even have an Instagram, you know? It's like Miley Cyrus isn't posting about other people, you know, she's posting about her
Yeah.
dogs and her cats all the time. But it just
Like,
depends.
damn.
Yeah, so it's like a lot of times it's like if you want to build your following to have this massive following, you want to work with like those bloggers who a lot of times you're doing their hair for free saying, will you post it? And that's like changing the game.
You guys
with
read
that-
the article? There was
What?
a big article about this that just came out.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I saw that
Like
too.
a lot of
Indeed.
young hairdressers will do hair for free, being like, if you post my name on Instagram,
Right.
Patty Dubroff.
I'll do it for free.
Yeah,
And I'm
what
like,
did-
I work way too hard for that.
Jen Aniston, I mean, not Jen, Jen Atkin, right? Which they interviewed her for that
Yeah.
as well. For some of the hairdressers that are getting so frustrated with the fact that yeah, exactly, that they'll do
Yeah.
it for
Just
free.
a debate between the
And-
old school stylists and all of the new stylists, and then the ones, and I feel like a lot of us might have been a little bit in between, you know, so we do the social media, we're into it, but when I started, when I was an assistant, I assisted Bob Racine. If you don't know him, look him up, he's incredible.
He's genius.
He's a
He is
genius.
genius.
And I was his assistant, and I would never be allowed to have a cell phone on set to do anything, and I was taught the art of hairdressing. And so it was very different. Bob does not have Instagram.
And Vogue would never let you. If they
Yeah.
see you on a phone, I mean, forget
There's
it.
a little
Yeah.
disclaimer at the bottom of the call sheet.
Cannot have phones
So
out.
the debate was between the old school world, you know, and these icons who are incredibly talented, but not a lot of people know about them. And then you have new people coming up, and their portfolio is on social media, and they're getting jobs because of their followers.
Yes.
So it's a debate, you know.
It is.
I think it's.
And I think you could never judge someone's hair quality by their followers. You know, like you can't, that's not true. Like you could have 2,000 followers and be the most brilliant hairdresser ever. You just haven't had luck hit your lap where someone else is trying to show you. So don't be excited when someone has 2 million followers, and all they do is blow dry hair straight.
I just
So
joined
know
a
that
year
there's
and a
more
half ago.
craft than numbers.
What did he say? I didn't hear.
I think some of the industry hairdressers that, you know, are on stages every day, you know, and again, it goes back to the same thing, get very frustrated because he said, you know, well, I'm busy being on stages all over the world. I don't have time to do Instagram. And for about a year, I wrote an editor's letter at one point, and I said, you know what, that's your get out of jail, like that's your get out of jail free card for right now. But a year from now, you can't say that anymore. Like it's so true. You were just saying that just because somebody is, you know, is a major Instagram, you know, whether they're doing hair color or whatever, they may have hundreds of thousands of followers, but they still may not be a great educator. Then you look at somebody else like a Beth Minardi, whatever. She may not have, you know, anywhere near those followers, but she still, I promise you, is one of the best hair color, if not the best hair color educator in the world.
It's so true. So
it's,
true.
You know, we have to be very careful about making sure that you're spending money wisely on your education, and just the exact same thing. Like but you do have to use it. Instagram is such a powerful, important part of what you're doing, and it's really important
It is.
that you don't deny the power of it.
This is my debate with this. I think it is to some degree, but who you are as a person, if you never had Instagram and you never looked at it, you wouldn't know what you're missing, and that's great. So once you get caught in the bubble of, oh my God, this is what this person's posting, look how many numbers they're having, that stuff starts to mess with your head. So you really want to either just take care of yourself, do what you do the best, be proud of what you do every single day, and that is going to be good enough for you. You do not need to get caught up in, oh my God, I don't have enough numbers, I'm never going to be on this stage. I'm never going to be this because I don't do these people. It's not true. It took me 12 years of people being like, no, 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 and I was going to work at a 7-Eleven, and it finally worked out. So there you have it. You don't need to have all of that.
Yeah.
So you two own salons, and what I'd like just to love to know is, like, how do you manage your how do you manage your clients being on the road? Because everybody wants to do celebrities, which is great, and yes, it's true. Like, you have to be, you know, in a major city generally, although, Anthony, you're in Chicago.
Yeah.
Many people told you in Chicago, there's no way you're going to be a celebrity stylist in Chicago. There's no way you're going to charge more than $150 in Chicago.
Yeah.
And you charge well over double that. So, and that's in Chicago, where everybody told you it couldn't happen. Now, you guys, of course, I know are in other cities, but I want to know just how difficult is it to own a salon and also to be traveling all the time? How do you manage your team in that situation?
I mean, you're just working harder than you ever have. I mean, at this point in my career, Chicago's a great base for me to jump off. You know, I've been in New York, I lived in LA, you know, and I still circle around. So I'm fortunate enough have built a reputation that I can live where I want. So when I get the call, I can just go. So, you know, that's middle
And one of the
ground.
things I neglected to say about Anthony, which is you worked on Eugene Solomon's team at Fashion Week for how many years?
Oh, over 20 years.
20 years with
Yeah,
Eugene
I'm
Solomon,
still
one of the
holding
best
pins.
Well,
Yeah.
what I do is I train people. So I have a huge group of kids actually that, like Jay who was here, that, you know, they do all the famous people. I mean, Mark Townsend was my assistant, Chris McMillan. I'm very about passing the baton because
I've gotten a couple from you.
Oh, good.
Justin, Mike, they're awesome.
yeah, I have
They're
so
very well
many
trained.
amazing assistants. I really believe in training the people around you, and you know, they support you. That's why I have great salons, because I have great talent that elevates my name, and it's not about me doing every single
Yeah.
person,
No,
you know.
exactly.
And I think it's very important to have a good team around you. That supports you.
100%.
Yeah.
That's the key,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, we wouldn't be the people we are without the people around
Yeah.
us, for sure.
And so you're not like, so you're on the road all the time. Are all of you guys on the road a lot?
Well, I think
A
I'm
lot.
on the road doing different things. You know, now you do QVC, I do HSN. I mean, it's like, that's a whole other business. But I think once after doing so much editorial in my life and celebrities, you go to the next level, which is owning your own products, your own companies, and hopefully you own it. And
Yeah,
you know,
and
you're
Sally
the-
has many, I mean, her own line of 10K. So these guys, Tool Line, obviously.
And for any of the females in the audience who really, you guys have got, I've been in this business 25 years, I've lived in New York. Sally is a pioneer for women
Absolutely.
in this business.
Oh,
She
yeah.
fought tooth and nail
100%.
in papers and magazines that she should be paid, if not the same, more than men, because she is damn good at it. She has been written up more than anyone else has for controversial things she's done, and she paved the way to slam the door wide open for women to be like, we can be just as big as men.
Thank
So-
you.
Very
Thank you.
true.
Yeah. Well said.
Thank you.
Cheers to that, because it is from an
It's
iconic
been a heavily
perspective.
male-dominated business
It is.
forever.
Yeah.
You know, so it's really nice to see girls rising. Jen Atkin and Sarah, like they're all these pioneers that are women that are saying that we can do everything guys can do. And
Yeah, and it's true. I mean, people say that all the time. I mean, when we're looking at educators and everything, it is so true that it is still a predominantly male business as it pertains to celebrity hairdressers. Let's take a look at some of your iconic work individually. So this is Sally. Let's run through a couple of Sally's slides. Obviously, you worked with Tom Cruise, and which was such a cool thing. And I know you told a story. Well, and look at that. I mean, these are some of the most iconic images that we've actually ever seen, and all the different celebrities that you've worked with.
where's the supermodel picture?
Which one?
She has
The
a
supermodel.
supermodel
If you
picture
go
that's
back,
iconic
one
coming up.
picture, please, or one slide.
That.
Just
That
So you
deserves a round
recognize
of
all
applause.
those. This is Sally Hirschberger,
That's it.
and I think we all know who those models are. That must have been pretty incredible.
Yeah, that was an amazing day. We were at Herb Ritz's house. If you guys don't know him, he's not alive anymore, but he made my career, and he made everyone look amazing. As you can see, like Tatiana, every one of these models always wanted to shoot with Herb Ritz. And we were at his house, and we were shooting Tatiana, and then Cindy came over. I mean, we were all best friends. And they all just came over, and he's like, oh, take off your shirts. Oh, huddle together. And, you know, I'm like doing their hair, and it became this iconic photograph. But everything in my experience of working in fashion, whether the pictures earlier with Stephen Meisel, you know, he's like, cut Giselle's hair off. I mean, do you know what I mean? That's not really what I want to be doing. But, you know, everything for me has been spontaneous. It's never been calculated, and it always happens in the moment. It's like I just feel it, and same with Herb Ritz, you know. It's like take off your clothes, or Annie Leibovitz. You can have an idea, and then it can just go out the window the minute.
100%.
Yeah.
I just want to chime in with that too, because when you do a lot of editorial and stuff like that, you kind of are given some concept or some idea of what it is, and so many of the things that we do happen so organically, so like not what you expected. You totally change your idea. You could be thinking all night, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do this, and you get there and you're like, none of that's going to work.
That's not going to
Yeah.
So we're
happen.
throwing a wig on her, and there's been Just hop to my slides for a second.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll
Jump
talk
over-
about
yeah.
some stories where
Jump over to Harry's
surprises
slides,
happened,
please. Harry, Josh.
where I didn't know. Thank God we have everything. That's another problem when you're an editorial stylist. I do what Sarah do because I see her on jobs all the time. We're always together. But when you do a lot of editorial high fashion stuff, when you're working with models, not celebrities, you're expected to bring cases of things, wigs and wig heads.
Can we go to Harry's slides, please? Go ahead.
Okay.
They'll bring it up.
I just want to tell the picture so I know what
we're
I'm
gonna-
talking about,
okay.
but I'm not sure what picture they have. All right, so for example, where is the wig? Okay, so that picture up there of Karolina Krakova. If you know who she is, she's a supermodel. She was a Victoria's Secret angel in the past. She's been on Sports Illustrated. So that shag, that was very Sally inspired, of her and that wig happened because her hair was very broken and her hair was really short, and they're like, we want it long, but she needs to look special and different because we're trying to change her look. So we shagged out a platinum bob on her within 10 minutes and threw that on, and that was the first frame, and that was the shot. And we just put a little bit of light wind. So that was not at all what the plan was. The concepts they gave me were these big kind of sculptural hairdos, like that one in the bottom. So they wanted this kind of like 60s feeling for her, and we totally changed it into a whole other thing. And that's what's great about editorial styling, is because when you work with a celebrity, they have to chime in. Models don't chime in at all. You do what you want to them, you bleach their eyebrows, you put on a crazy wig, and they're gonna do it. An actress is gonna be like, no way, I'm not doing that. I want my long, beautiful, pretty hair, and that's what you're gonna do. So that is really cool. So never get set on anything is what I'm saying. Like, even like when we were talking about what looks to do on stage, I'm like, you need to do something specific so we know how you're gonna do it. But for me, if I was just standing up there, I'm sure I would have done something even more interesting because I have a mirror and I'm playing and I'm like, what if we back home this? What if I twist this up and then make this big? So always try to be loose, I think would be the way to think about when you're approaching hair. Don't be so gung-ho on doing it a certain way because it may never turn out to be that.
Is that true with color?
No.
Like, because
I would imagine that it's not true for color.
Let's jump over to Justin's slides for a second. Like, tell us, when we jump over, we're going to jump over to Justin Anderson's slides for a second. Let's go to Miley, because there's just so many, like, funny stories and stuff about. So, are these yours, Justin? Right here. Here we go.
That's me.
Let's go to the next slide. And then and then one more.
She cute.
There we go.
So, it must be a trip to work with her.
It is a trip to work with Miley. I mean, it's always kind of like constantly changing. But I remember from that Love magazine cover shoot, that's acrylic paint that made her hair like colored. So then literally I think a month later was the Elle shoot where we had to go super, super platinum. So the thing about Miley's hair, and you guys all work in salons, so you know, it's like, you know those clients whose hair will not freaking lift? Like you like, like Miley's hair, like, it looks like, okay, maybe you could bleach and tone that. Like, it takes everything to get that light. It's just one of those ones that won't lift. Like,
And she's not that dark, right?
no, it's not. It's just certain hair textures just don't lift. So she doesn't lift that well. So we had to get her platinum from Elle from that to get the acrylic stuff out. And it was just like an absolute nightmare. I was like at her house till like 3 o'clock in the morning. But a lot of times with Miley's hair, to be honest, I mean, just like being a hairdresser and being completely honest with you guys, a lot of times I'm like, I'm dealing with breakage. When she has roots a lot, it's just like, I'm like, bitch, your hair is so dry. If I like color it one more time,
I love that
fall off. So
one.
it's like, let's do that real Rudy look. Like,
I love that,
roots
though.
are
That's
in. Like, the cover of Elle magazine is all about roots this season. And so it's like, I'll have to convince her because for me, it's
So
like,
you mean the root thing is like all because her hair was about to
no,
fall
yeah,
out?
like
and we-
in that stuff.
No, we got
Yeah.
the Rudy trend is because of the
Yeah,
nuts.
no, then it'll start a trend. But yeah, like
Yeah.
with her hair, it's like, it really just depends on what the texture of her hair is.
Is that a lace front wig you had to cover?
That is a wig. So we colored the front, and then they had a wig coming right behind it.
Wow.
And yeah, but I really like her hair like that.
Totally.
And I like her hair a lot like that. Like, that's real cute.
Natural.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
cool.
They all
And
look
she
good.
comes with her ideas on what she wants to do.
Yeah, Miley always knows exactly what she wants to do. She's so cool, and I've worked with her for so long, and literally she's like the client that literally is texting me all throughout the week. Like, we talk about color all week. Like, I won't color her hair for 3 months, but we'll talk like every night. Like, she's just talking.
Sending
about color,
pictures
sending
back
me
and forth.
pictures
Yeah,
back
you're like,
and
I love
forth.
this, I love that.
Yeah, but like, a lot of times, like, girl, your hair can't handle any of that.
And now she's on The Voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now she's on The Voice, so it's good. But she's got those roots, and she's adding like a lot of like dreadlocks in. And it's just like, do it. I really keep talking her out of touching up her roots. Like I really don't want to do it just because it's like, it's a job. Like, a serious job. Like, I don't want to do it.
We've
No,
all been there.
Who wants to do it?
Yeah, we've all been there.
that's what we were talking
my-
about, Josh, you and I on the plane. Josh was saying how, he just doesn't, you don't want to do like, if it's like a correction, it's going to be 2 days of like, I mean, I don't blame you.
Yeah, you just get burnt out. And,
Yeah.
that's the great thing about assistants too. They're happy to work. So if they want to blow dry her hair instead, I'm like, great. You go ahead and I'll be back. I'm gonna have a coffee because they want to get their hands in there. And I would also encourage you guys as stylists, get your assistants' hands in the hair. Them standing
Yeah.
there and watching you all day is not gonna make them good. So if you want to have a sandwich, be like, blow this out. And constructively tell them afterwards why the blowout didn't work. You should have been more volume. You should have used mousse at the roots. You know her hair is flat. Whatever it is, that is how an assistant gets good, is by kind of pushing them out there and being like, you do it. And obviously, because they're paying clients, you want to make sure they look good. So pad yourself for 5 to 10 minutes to be like, I'll fix anything you can't do, but get their hands in there because that's how they're going to get good.
We're so funny because we talk about our assistants like everyone has one. It's like, I mean, I went many, many years without
In the
an
old days,
assistant. It's
nobody
like-
had assistants when I was
I know, but
working.
assistant is like where you really, really learn. Like people talk to me like, where did you go to beauty school? I'm like, I learned nothing in beauty school. Like I learned everything as being like a hairdresser. And I knew, an assistant, and I knew I wanted to do blonde hair. So I did all my research on like who did the best blonde in LA. And I worked for Lori Goddard. I worked for Jonathan Gale. I worked for Sherry Roman. I worked for Art Luna. You remember all, they
All of
pretty much
them
came
now
from her
work at my salon.
They're all her employees. But I worked for all of them because I really wanted to learn how each of them did it. And I just think that's like the key to everything that we do. It's like, it's education. You're learning from other people. It's why we just have to keep sharing with one another because there's plenty of clients.
Yeah, there is plenty.
Yeah.
Tomorrow morning, God, I can't believe it's going to be tomorrow morning after tonight. Tomorrow morning, I'm actually bringing my team on, about 8 of our team, to talk about, to talk specifically about what it is, like, how do you get people to always see the positive side? How do you get people to not go into the darkness, into the negativity, especially when you're trying to, when your expectations of great, that you're not allowed to do anything other than great, that good is the enemy of great. And the team's coming on to talk about that. And I was saying to somebody earlier today, the number one thing that I can say to success, especially when you're young, is just say yes. That's it. Just say yes.
Yes. Absolutely.
Anytime somebody asks you, yes, I'll do it. Yes.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Exactly.
It's just
Yeah,
that simple.
absolutely.
Just say yes. And when your time comes,
And
you'll
don't
be the
say-
one. The funny thing is, people always think that nobody's watching what everybody's going on. We all know exactly what's going on, and we're always watching. And you just say yes, And then when it's your chance, that was the person that always said yes, and now I'm going to give them that opportunity that everybody else wants, but they're going to get that chance. And
Put yourself in that position to succeed,
Yeah.
always. you
It's.
know?
I just think it's super, super important to do that. But any last words from you guys? I know it's been like amazing to have you, but I mean, if you could just say to them, and they're interested in doing something in celebrity. I know we've got the show in 2 hours in celebrity, like, or if that's what they really wanted to do, what piece of advice, just very quickly, would you each give them if this is what they wanted to go and they wanted to work with
This
celebrity?
question is the most commonly asked
I'm sure it
question
is.
on my direct messages or Instagrams or Facebook. And I would say for sure, and I know a lot of people won't want to hear this, you need to move to LA or New York. Because the opportunities are tenfold what they're going to be there that they're going to be anywhere else in the world. So there's so much opportunities to be at good salons, work under good people, see what good work looks like. And relocating is what a lot of people do to get to where they want to go to. So, I mean, if you're a model and you want to be a model, you can't be in Ohio and be a supermodel. You got to move to New York or LA or London or Paris. And I think at our level of work, if this is what you want to do, you can you can do what Anthony's doing, but I'm sure if he wasn't married with kids and a family and he had to restart, I'm sure he'd much happier be in New York because he's there like every day. I see.
Yeah, I'm fortunate to be able to come full circle. Chicago's my hometown. Most of my adolescence, I was raised in LA. So, but in my 20s, I was behind kind of a big company in Chicago. But the last 10 years is when I went back to LA, back to New York, and just traveled. I was in a suitcase for 10 years. So eventually, I thought I was going to do my salon in LA, but it happened to come full circle where someone introduced me to.
Now, once you've made it, you can go and open up a salon in Chicago like you did.
Yeah.
You gotta make it first and then come back.
That's right. That's where I'm fortunate to where I built it. you know, all those years of honing your craft.
But, and
disciplining
Anthony's
yourself.
been a good friend for so many years, and he works, I'm not kidding to tell you, he works 7 days a week, all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. And
Yeah,
I
I love
remember
what
when
I
you were
do.
And he-
building
and
that.
I will
you
say he
always worked 7
transforms
days a week.
the hardest heads of hair. Nobody knows how hard Adriana Lemos hair is to do. I know because I've done it a few times, and I know why she asks for him all the time. It is a
Justin,
very
your-
difficult head
Your
of
piece
hair.
of advice?
My piece of advice, I think that you honestly nailed it. That's what I say all the time, is saying yes all the time. I remember that, like, the coolest things that happened to me in my early 20s when I first started doing hair was just saying yes all the time. It's like the first time I did Kirsten Dunst, she was red for Spider-Man, and I made her blonde for Marie Antoinette, and nobody wanted to do it, and I did it, like, starting at 10 o'clock at night, and I was, like, 22 years old or something, and I stayed. So it's just, like, saying yes, and the other thing is just being super, super hungry. Like, we're all here for the same reasons, because we want to learn, and it's just, like, I know for me, it's like, I freaking love hair, so it's like, I want to keep doing it, you know? So it's like, I want to say yes to everything, because I want to do everything, except for Miley's roots. But you got to have that hunger.
Sarah?
Yeah, so when I moved to New York, when I wanted to be a celebrity, I actually wanted to be an editorial fashion stylist. That's why I worked with Bob Racine, Ward, Luigi, Guido. I was like 30 shows a season of Fashion Week. And I found out something that I did not know, that there are agencies. So my advice, there's like a couple routes you can go. You can go to a salon, you could get trained by someone like Sally or one of her team members, and that's an incredible route. There's product companies, you could come with the Beach Waver or any of our tool companies, and you could go that route of this kind of stage thing. But when I went to New York, I went to NYU, I was working at a salon in Soho and doing fashion shows, and I thought that was it. I was like, okay, I'm at the salon, I'm doing runway shows, this is amazing. I've like made it, this is the team. And then I found out there's hair and makeup agencies that rep stylists. And I was like, what do they do? I didn't know anything about it.
Totally.
And I was like, this is incredible. So I met with the Wall Group, next to Sally's salon at the time. And I met an agent through a friend, and I sat down, same thing, with the portfolio, and I was like, I don't know, I've done a couple test shoots, what is this? And she was like, oh no, what are you doing tomorrow? I got along with her. Next day, on a W Magazine photo shoot, assisting Bob Racine, who I didn't know who he was, and I was there, and I was like, this is amazing. And so the agency really introduced me to the world of editorial. I got so many jobs, so I basically got on their assistant list. Then there was Brian Bantry, then there's Streeters, then there's Art and Commerce, and all these incredible agencies that are repping the most talented people in the world. And I was on that assistant list. Once I figured that out, I was able to do literally everything. The opportunities kept coming. Oh, do you want to be on a photo shoot with Annie Leibovitz assisting? Do you want to do this runway show, the Marc Jacobs show? Do you want to do this? And do you want to go to Austria and do Life Ball? I mean, it was really incredible just to have that information, which as a stylist, I grew up in Libertyville, Illinois, and I did not know that there were agencies in New York and LA. So once I worked for all these stylists for a number of years, I eventually got signed by the Wall Group. So
Which is awesome.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Really
She
cool.
went to NYU, and
Oh,
she
yeah.
owns the Beach Waver. So I'm like,
I know.
That's why she
I know.
made it.
Lady
Because
boss.
it's actually really smart.
Lady boss.
Sally, your piece of advice?
You know, honestly, you guys have said everything I would say. I mean, for me, how I became successful was being in the right place at the right time, and that was working for the best hairdressers and then I met Olivia Newton-John, and then I met her Ritz, being on tour with her, and everything. And then, agents were smaller when I first went, and then Brooke Wall, who owns the Wall Group, I actually owned LA. I opened LA with her. I've always been very involved in all aspects of it. So work for somebody great. That's
I
the
totally
foot in.
Yeah.
I totally agree. Work for somebody great. Just find them and then just assist as much as you can. Anthony?
Definitely. I mean, also love the one you're with. I mean, hone your craft, be the best you can be, position yourself with someone great, align yourself, but then love the one you're with. It's important. I mean, it's great to have dreams and aspirations, but as a salon owner, we need staff and we need people to kind of push us. So if we're clearing the path, we're going to push the trees down, but we need the wind behind the sails as well. So,
I love that. That's great.
Also, wait, can I say one more
Yeah.
thing? One more thing that I want to say is also, it's just like, enjoy where you're at, because what we do is really not that fun. Like, it's fun,
It's
but it's
stressful.
so hard, it's stressful.
It's very
And you guys-
stressful.
Like, I did hair because I love doing it. Like, you guys just get to create every day. You guys have crazy-ass clients like we do, but it's like, it's on a whole other level when you're dealing with, like, some of the craziness that we do. So it's fun, and enjoy hearing about it, but enjoy where you're at, too. Be the best where you're at.
Yeah.
I love being back in the salon more. You know, before, for the last 10 years, it was just me, my assistant, the studio. Now I have great people around me. It's fun. I love working with my clients. You know, actually, that repetition that I'm doing on a daily basis behind the chairs, bringing inspiration and brings in new ideas, you know?
Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you guys. Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you guys all
Thank
so
you.
much. It's great
Thank
as
you.
always. You guys are amazing. So we'll see all of you guys tonight. We'll see all of you guys tonight for the One Shot Awards, and they get a standing ovation. Wow. Congratulations. Good job, you guys. Thank you guys so much. Mwah. Thanks, you guys. Everybody go get your pretty on, and we'll see you back here at 7:30. And the party tonight is in Hall A, and then you'll be coming into Hall C for the awards. So 7:30 to 8 o'clock, 8:15, you'll be in Hall A for cocktails, and then you'll be coming again back here at 8:15 to get ready to go for our One Shot Awards. Thank you guys so much, and I want to thank all of our production crew and everybody who's worked so hard all day today. Thank you guys so much.
Here we go.